As always, guys, we'll start with the old DXY, which is looking pretty bearish. It's looking pretty bearish. Let's not beat around the bush here. Price is looking very bearish. We are pretty much coming into this area, which is the area I mentioned at the start of the week. I said if this level doesn't hold, well, this is going to be my focus. I'm still looking to buy the dollar, but I do need to see some type of signs of reversal. Market starting to consolidate, potentially momentum picking up bullish, wicks in this area. That's what I'll be looking at now for the DXY, because I want to see evidence of another higher low forming. We put one over here, put a second over here. Can we now put a third? That's the question I'll be asking. And if it looks like we are doing that, then of course I'll be looking to hop into some buys favoring USD, not necessarily buying the DXY, but shorting euro, shorting pound, and potentially some other USD pairs as well. So keeping a very close eye for the USD. We had a very aggressive push in NFP. That's kind of what scared me at the start of this week or at the end of last week, because it was such an aggressive move. And typically when you have behavior like that, and impulse, that's your inverse V-shaped pattern, normally does mean more downside. Not all the time, but normally does mean more downside. The V-shaped patterns, the inverse V-shaped patterns, are very, very powerful patterns actually. Don't want to sleep on them. They're very, very powerful patterns. So that kind of put me off the buys, but I did say if momentum picks up, well, I will entertain the buys if I do see that momentum pick up. But we never really saw signs of that happening. Yes, then the stream looked like price was just about breaking through, and since then till now, we kind of just kept falling. So dollar's looking pretty bearish. The structure for me is still bullish in the 4-hour chart, so I'm still trying to take advantage of that for a rally. We did break structure to our left. Nothing critical or significant. I would argue that this is the most significant high for the DXY, the last kind of major high we made after that low, and that gave us the new low here. So we haven't technically broken major structure, but we have broken through this high here, which is enough of an indication for me to be looking for a buy. We've got some type of break of structure, we've got some bullish structure at play, we've got some nice momentum in that previous bullish leg. It makes sense to be looking to buy. So I like the buys with the DXY, as I did coming into this into the week. It's just we've had quite an aggressive retracement. So now it's up to the dollar to start to slow down and give us some signs that, okay, a higher low is forming. We can get into some trades and hopefully take it back to highs, or short euro, short pound, so on and so forth. So keeping an eye on the dollar, still bullish. I'm not looking to sell it. Need to see some signs of a reversal there and a higher low forming for me to entertain any trades, but we are in an interesting area. EURUSD, same situation as well. We pulled all the way back up to this area. Not quite, but we're not far away from that zone. Again, really aggressive move. We had the V-shaped pattern here for euro, impulse down, small consolidation, impulse back up. Typically, that means more upside. And we have got that in a very aggressive move as well. So I want to start to see some signs of euro slowing down, because this is a really strong move. Almost as strong as the move on the way down, which is not really a good sign. Typically, I want my retracements to be a lot slower than the impulsive leg. If that's the case, that's normally a good sign. It means that that move is likely to be a pullback. If it's just as aggressive, that could be a sign of a reversal. So I need to see price kind of slowing down, becoming a bit more corrective before I do jump into anything. But we are in an area which I'm looking for a lower high to form. We have one over here, second over there. I'm looking for a third. Same scenario as the DXY. We just about broke through some structure here. I wouldn't say it's the most significant swing low. I would say this is the most significant swing low. But of course, I'm not going to wait for price to break that before I do start to look to short. I would still entertain the idea of shorting now. I would still say it's a bit more of a counter trend trade, but I still like the idea. So I'm being careful with euro, because the market for me as a whole is still bullish, but I am looking for shorts and I'm trying to go counter trend. And we do have some nice confidence in this area. So it's up to the market now to slow down, start to give me some signs of reversals of a lower high forming, and give me a good entry signal. That's what I'm going to be looking at now for EURUSD. At the moment, still pretty bullish, not quite at my zone just yet, so a bit more upside would be nice. But I am going to be keeping a close eye to see how euro develops over the next couple days, few days, and hopefully there could be some nice shorts, at least back to this area. Doesn't have to be a home run all the way back to the low here. Even a push to there, you could probably walk away for like a 1 to 2 potentially, depending on your entry, which is still a great trade. And maybe if we're lucky, we do get the big swing. But even a push there, for me, looks like a good idea. So we'll see as Euro develops, but that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye on. Pound USD was pretty bullish as well. Nowhere near as bullish as Euro. Euro's been quite strong at the moment. Euro against a lot of currencies, it's been the stronger one out of them. Pound, not so much. We actually got some pound news coming up later today, which is interesting because I do kind of favor some weakness for pound. So we'll see how that comes into play. But pound USD has hit this zone now. Prior support once, support twice. Now looking for it to act as resistance. We've got the prior lower highs 1 and 2. Pound USD did break significant structure in my opinion. This was the last swing low which gave us that high. We've completely broken through that, and we've been putting lower highs since. So the plan for pound USD is very much looking for another lower high to form, and again signs of shorts back into the swing low. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for now for pound. Looking at evidence of a lower high forming in and around this area. I would say pound USD, we are quite corrective and we are quite slow paced compared to this big bearish move. So that's why I kind of like pound USD a lot more than Euro, because Euro's had a very strong sell but a very big buy. Pound USD's had a strong sell, but the buy hasn't been any type of threatening, to be honest. So I quite like the behavior of pound USD. I quite like the level we're trading into now. So now it's up to pound to actually give me some signs of a reversal and some entry signals. And then if I get that, hopefully I can swing it at least back to the low there, but maybe further as well. So pound USD, I think probably is my favorite USD pair at the moment right now. Keeping a close eye on that pair. Things develop well. I'm looking to take some shorts. Dollar CAD, on the other hand, not looking too hot, I must admit. I mean, we could still see some upside for this one, but not from the level I was expecting at the start of the week. We had a lovely support level, resistance twice, and then, of course, we got the big breakout. This is essentially a consolidation, which price has spent quite a few days in before we did get a lovely break to the upside. So simply, I was looking for the retest of that area after the breakout and then a continuation. But unfortunately, we didn't get that, and price is closing below quite firmly there. So it's not a situation where, okay, price is breaking below, we cannot now see some upside. You know, sometimes price isn't always neat and tidy. Sometimes price will dip below a level, come back above, and then see some upside. So it's not that we can't rally here for dollar CAD, but it just means it's harder, and the probability of us doing that is a little bit less. So for dollar CAD, I'm not really interested in the buy, especially when pound USD looks a lot better. I'd rather just focus on the higher quality opportunity when they're both kind of favoring the same idea. Dollar CAD, I'm still quite bullish on. I'm still looking at massive breakout of this range, a higher low to form, and some upside. That's still my expectation. But since we have cracked support there, I'm not really entertaining any buys. And for all I know, this could act as resistance, and we could see price sell off from that as well. So it's not high probability anymore. If we held support, yes, I think the buys could look good there. Didn't see that happen. We saw a bit of momentum, but nothing aggressive, especially taking into account what DXY was doing at the time. Nothing really spectacular. So now that we're back below significant resistance, that could very much act as resistance again and send us lower. So dollar CAD kind of backing away. If we do recover, sure, I think the buys after that could look good if we get back above, but we have to wait and see. So basically my focus now of dollar CAD is just pretty much what we do at this area. Do we respect it? Do we break through? And that will kind of dictate the next swing I'll be favoring for dollar CAD. As for Aussie dollar, interesting, very bullish move. Not looking too great, I must admit, on the daily chart. I've been looking for a lower high to form, and I said I don't want to see price break back within the channel. I would wait for the daily candle to kind of really confirm that. Of course, the day is still young, still got 11 hours and 40 minutes before it does close. Looks like it's poking its head back into the range, but nothing confirmed until really the end of the day there. But yeah, very bullish, more bullish than I was expecting. Of course, USD falling has played a big part in that. Yeah, I'm not too sure about Aussie dollar. I've been looking for a lower high, looking for price to kind of respect this area. I would argue we're kind of breaking through it right now, and we're looking quite bullish there. So unless I start to see some clear signs of us starting to stall and momentum shifting back down again, I'm not going to be looking to sell that. I'm going to be kind of backing off a little bit from Aussie dollar. And yeah, if momentum does continue, well, absolutely, I won't be looking to short that. At that point, it's kind of like another fake out, really. And we're back within the range, and maybe something like that happens in due course. So, Aussie dollar, I'm kind of keeping a watchful eye on this one. I can still see the shorts potentially coming in. Maybe this is just a big retest for us to sell off, but we need to see some really aggressive rejection pretty much now. If momentum does continue, then yeah, maybe it was never going to sell off. Maybe this was just a big fake out outside the range as well. So at that point, I would be quite cautious. New Zealand dollar, same kind of situation as well. Although New Zealand dollar hasn't been one of my favorite pairs anyway to trade. I think overall it's kind of like a big consolidation. I've been talking a lot about this channel, but respectfully, kind of just box that off and just chalk that to a consolidation. I think that makes just as much sense as well. But we've been in this kind of slight uptrend with some slight high lows. We did break through that last week along with Aussie dollar. So since then, I've been looking for more downside. But again, today's candle was starting to break above. This could just be like a big retest, or it could be a big wick. We'll find out by the end of the day. But momentum is picking up with the buyers here. And similar to Aussie, if this momentum does just continue throughout the day, I think I will kind of hold back the short bias I have for New Zealand dollar. If again, we do find ourselves breaking back below, especially before the end of the day, then maybe the sales actually do look good, probably for tomorrow, Friday. But yeah, it's not my favorite pair because, again, like I said, it's kind of just ranging. There's not a lot of room to work with. Aussie looks far better, so I'd rather focus on that pair. They're very similar pairs anyway. But yeah, it looks like we are creeping back in. We'll see what we kind of get at the end of the day, if that can sustain or not. But looking at USD, we need to see kind of dollar gain some strength pretty quickly and start to show some strong signs of rejection. If not, maybe dollar weakness is here to stay. And gold's been a bit of a mixed bag. Looked a bit bullish, but I think didn't really sustain that momentum this morning, did it? No. So it was looking quite bullish this morning, but it has pulled back. A lot of friction in and around this area. We have seen some short-term selling opportunities, which is pretty much what I was hinting at coming into the week, but nothing crazy. I talked about potentially pushing to this area. Came about halfway there and turned around. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of gold anyway. As I said, it is a ranging market, so the best places to get involved are going to be right at the highs and right at the lows. This is kind of the major resistance price has been respecting, and we've kind of got some significant support around this area here as well. So effectively, buying around here and selling up there is the best bet. I know it's kind of quite straightforward, sell high, buy low, but in a range, that's effectively what you want to be doing. Getting involved in the middle is always going to be a difficult opportunity. Not to say you can't find a successful trade there, but in my opinion, it's a lot harder to do that than try and short highs and buy lows, or kind of waiting for breakouts as well. That's an effective situation. So yeah, gold right now really corrective. It is throwing a lot of wicks here, so I can see we are struggling. Perhaps we still do roll over. I think if we can get some momentum to start to break lower, maybe if I can drop to the hourly chart, because we are quite corrective, almost like an ascending channel here. I think if price can potentially start to break through this, that could actually be a nice sell there for gold, and we might see price actually go and hit that level I was mentioning at the start of the week, which was this area here. I'm not looking for big moves here for gold because we're in the middle of the range. I'll keep it very, very short term. We may see a big swing all the way to the level. Maybe I wouldn't bank on that happening. Something like this is a bit more reasonable. So gold to me looks like it's really struggling at resistance here. Momentum's dying, especially with that 4 hour candle close and that big wick. So I do favor gold to kind of see some downside. But I think waiting for the breakout of that channel is a smart move, to be honest. That kind of confirms momentum's with the bears and probably likely to fall at that point. If not, if we do kind of just stay corrective, maybe we do see a swing back to the highs of the range again, which also is a smart place for a short as well. So it's kind of what I'll be keeping an eye on for gold. Not a fan favorite. I'm not looking to get involved with gold, to be honest. I do prefer silver a lot more, and that's kind of one of the USD, not USD, well, technically it's USD pairs, but one of the kind of metals I've been looking at quite a lot. Been looking to short this, but momentum's picked up very well as well. So I've been quite patient with silver. I've been looking for a lower high to form to short this, but no evidence of price shifting. Momentum, bullish momentum is still very much here. We're still kind of within the zone, so I'm still keeping an eye out for sells. if we do rally through this strongly, I think I probably would back away from the sells and kind of stand corrected, because I wasn't favoring silver to rally this week, especially after such a big bearish leg. We've actually seen quite a lot of momentum, surprisingly. So if silver does just continue to rally and push through, I think I'll back away from the shorts. At that point, there might be some nice intraday long opportunities, waiting for a quick pullback, and some buys, and then a push back to this high probably is your best bet at that point. If we can start to see some heavy rejection here, maybe a bit of consolidation, a strong break of that, and yeah, I'm all over the shorts, and I'll be looking for a push back into the swing low here. So I can still see the idea of shorts. I'm still basically looking for the continuation of this bearish leg. That was the plan this week. Big impulse to the downside, just about breaking structure to our left, looking for a lower high and a lower low. So that was the plan coming into the week. But because of how aggressive that retracement is being, it's not really looking like a retracement. And if that momentum continues a bit further, then yeah, intraday pullbacks and some more upside is probably your likely move there.